The question is, hi all, 5800X3D, the GOAT, going to go down as a classic. Do you think AMD regret making it? I still don't feel a need to upgrade from my 5800X3D, even with the 9800X3D around the corner. Nobody should build an AM4 machine right now, but there's still not a huge reason to upgrade from AM4 to AM5 unless you absolutely have to have the best. Feels like it'll keep chugging along for at least another generation or so. So I think Jake is referring to the news this week that AMD is end of lifing the 5800X3D. And yeah, the question is, do AMD regret making it because it's humbled so many more of their later products? Oliver, curious about your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I don't think they do regret it because the 5800X3D is such a successful piece of hardware. And indeed, even though they have discontinued or do seem to be discontinuing that line of hardware, the 5700X3D is extremely similar to the 5800X3D. And as far as I can tell, that's still broadly in stock. It's like 4 or 5% faster typically in gaming workloads. You also have the 5600X3D, which is a 6-core variant that also has the 3D cache on it. That is also possibly a quite tantalizing upgrade for people on older hardware. I think this could be a situation like this commenter says, where kind of like the i5 2500K, where people just kind of stick with it for years and years and years because it delivers performance that is broadly acceptable relative to more modern processors. And even at the moment, I don't think that for gaming uses, there is a big reason to upgrade necessarily, even to something maybe like the 9800X3D, at least for gaming uses. Although I would say that for productivity uses, a 5800X3D relative to something like a 7950 or possibly a 9950, I think that is going to be lagging behind somewhat, depending on what your use case is, depending on how multi-threaded the workloads that you're looking at are. So it's not necessarily a processor that's going to be great for everyone. But yeah, I mean, personally, I think it's a great processor. I'm very much looking forward to the 9800X3D and the 9950X3D and all those X3D processors, which I think we'll know more about quite soon because there are rumors of an event coming up in the next week or so. So hopefully that will be exciting. But for now, I think the 5800X3D is a very good chip. And I think that instead of running away from it, AMD is embracing it with some of these slightly lower cost, but very performant processors on the AM4 platform, like we've seen with the 5700X3D and the 5600X3D.
Yeah, John, I don't know what you think, but I think that if you put out a product that is essentially, a cost-efficient Halo product, it only enhances the reputation of the entire brand.
Yep.
So it's probably, I don't feel there's any regrets from AMD for doing this. I don't know what you think.
Precisely. I can't see any regrets in this. It's an amazing product that got people talking about AMD processors right as Intel was stumbling, right? So like it's, yeah, maybe it's hard to match with a follow-up product right now, but that's usually what happens. It's the same with GPUs throughout history, right? You have those famous GPUs that hit that everyone gravitated to, like when the 8800 GT came out, for instance. It was a revelation that certainly did not hurt the brand, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing here. But yeah, the CPU space is in a slightly weird position right now for sure, where updates feel extremely incremental and sometimes even step backs in certain ways, which has certainly left me questioning where I go next and when I even consider updating my own CPU. So it's just, it's weird right now on the CPU side.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it in the past and I'll say it again. The 5800X3D, I think, is one of the most consumer-friendly launches I've ever seen, in that it basically revitalized systems that went back like 5 years. It was just absolutely remarkable. And, the whole X3D concept has entirely caught Intel off guard because, essentially what it does is not only do you get this fantastic performance out of the box just through the Vcache, but it also helps reduce system cost overall because there's not necessarily the need to actually invest in super fast system memory to go with it, which I think is pretty fantastic as well. So, yeah, I don't think there's any regrets there. I think it was a fantastic move from AMD, and it's kind of like the masterstroke in becoming the boss of the consumer CPU market.
The boss.
And, strictly speaking, in terms of the amount of money they make from the desktop CPU market compared to like mobile and enterprise, it's actually surprisingly small. So, but the reputational impact of the X3D is would just can't be understated. It's just fantastic. It's a shame to see it go, but I don't think there's ever going to be a shortage of chips available if you want to buy one. And as Oliver says, the 5700 X3D, which is essentially the same thing, is apparently still going. I mean, I just bought one from AliExpress for like £130, which is nuts considering the amount of performance you get.